Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome, welcome, welcome to Daring Dialogues. I'm your host, Shante Charles. Mm, 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 mm. All right, it is Get Free Friday, and I do want to apologize for coming on late. I'm not going to be before you long today, um, but it has been a wild morning. And I haven't had a morning start off very off in a long time. And let me tell you something. When your morning starts off, you spend some time trying to get it back together. And I'm in the midst of trying to get my morning back together. So I went on a wild goose chase this morning, as most people are getting and prepping for the holiday season. I too am prepping. And my GPS sent me all over the place. It sent me to some back roads. It sent me through some sundown towns, which I was not very happy about. And I said to myself, these towns have got to be paying Google for people to get sent through their towns. That's the only thing I can think of is they've got to be paying Google some way, some shape, or form, because the route that they took me, I should have never gone. And so that's the only thing I can figure out. And unfortunately, that route put me way, way, way late today in getting on because it got me back home very, very late. And so let me go to my moderation here. All right. Yeah, so that wasn't fun. Trying to get out of sundown towns and make it back this morning to my house so that I could be on with you all. So again, I do apologize for being a little late this morning. I am not going to be long though. I'm going to just read our devotional. And this is coming from December 20th, Sugar Free. And it's coming from Dennis Kimbrough's Daily Motivations for African American Success. Now, I didn't begin this book at the beginning of the year, so we will probably pick back up in it in January so we can read those other devotionals. August Wilson, the playwright, said this: all over the world, nobody has a God who doesn't resemble them except Black Americans. Pastor Ben, you can keep that request up, and that way I'll just click on it once I get to the talk back here. All over the world, nobody has a God who doesn't resemble them except Black Americans. They can't even see they're worshiping someone else's God because they want so badly to assimilate. Now, August Wilson, the playwright, said that. I would like to think that we've come farther along than at the time he wrote that statement to recognize that the Christian faith is an African faith, that it comes out of Africa. And some people will say, well, it's been bastardized in some ways by the Greeks and by the Romans, and that is very well true in some aspects. But if you go back to the biblical times, there were Africans, the Ethiopians, that came to know Christ. And um, somebody would say, well, there were people that brought them the translations. I'm like, yeah, but the Ethiopians came to know Christ for themselves way before colonization. And so you can't put everything about Christianity under the lens of colonization without actually going back to the roots, which was in Africa, not the Middle East. The Middle East, as we've discussed here before, is a geopolitical term, but it's Northeast Africa. It became the Middle East when people decided to chop up the region for political reasons. but it's still Northeast Africa. All right. So we need to be aware of that and understand that. Um, I am glad to see people in the West decolonizing what they believe and how they believe. That's always a good thing. So let's read his synopsis here. One day, a young warrior sat on a rock by a stream, chewing a stalk of sugar cane. Suddenly, as if a flash of lightning burst forth in his head, he saw the truth. He realized his divinity. He saw the marvelous perfection of the great plan of the universe. The warrior was filled with a sense of ease that brought peace and harmony to his being. He returned to his village to share his wondrous insight, and before long crowds began to gather. His fellow villagers realized that he knew something was special, and they yearned to share this gift. When he told them of his wholeness and of their perfection, someone asked, "How did you find this inner peace?" "I'm not so sure," he admitted. "All I know is that one morning I was sitting on a rock by the stream nibbling on sugar cane, and all of a sudden the truth was revealed to me." The next morning the man awoke to find his village empty. Puzzled, he began to look for his brothers and sisters. After hours of searching across dusty back roads, he gave up and decided to rest for a moment by the stream where he had embraced his wholeness. There, to his amazement, he found the entire village huddled together on that rock, all eating sugar cane. Does this story sound familiar? Too often we mistake the form of our experience for its essence. We worship the physical manifestation, the doctrine, the dogma, the tradition, even the building, instead of the spirit itself. We confuse the circumstances of our enlightenment with enlightenment itself. How appropriate for this holiday season. We can all find inner peace, but we need only to let go of the idea that there is something, some church, some structure, some cloth, some water, some bead, some chant, some rite, some ritual, or some body that we must engage in first to find God. The way to peace is through the Spirit. Mm, 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 mm. Wow. What a powerful, powerful way to end our broadcast for 2024. That was just perfect. Um, the way to peace is through the Spirit. I was not in a moment of peace getting on my way back here, as I said, driving through backwoods sundown towns that GPS led me through that I didn't appreciate. But the way to peace is through the Spirit. The encouragement for today is to place your trust in Spirit, the source of all wisdom and inspiration. Yeah, I think that says all that it needs to say. So I want to thank you for your time and attention. We're going to have the talk back. And if you want to join me for our last talk back of the year, you can join me on at Daring Dialogues on Instagram. We're going to do that right now. And I will see you there. Um, the rest of season 14 will resume in January. Um, we're probably definitely not going to start January 1st. So probably January 2nd or January 3rd, we will resume the season. Okay. Um, Sunday dialogue. We have a few more of those for the year. So I will be on YouTube on this Sunday and the following Sunday. We'll be giving our um, prophetic word for 2025, sharing with you what the Lord wants to tell us and share with us to share with you. And so for YouTube, you'll see me a couple more times on here live on YouTube, and then we'll be back in 2025. So I want to thank you, YouTubers, for your time and your attention. I encourage you to check out all of our other playlists. Check out our Daring Dialogues past seasons if you're with us for the first time. We have got plenty of seasons for you to check out on our playlist. you can get to know us a little bit better and see what we are about. Again, be well, be light, and you can join us for the talk back right now over on Instagram at Daring Dialogues. Take care.